Hi, I'm Kelly Rowlett-Presgrave. I'm president and CEO of Work With Your Hands, and we are so proud to be a sponsor of Power Women of the Trades podcast. You can reach us at workwithyourhands.com. Kelly at workwithyourhands.com is my email.
At Relentless Digital, we believe in breaking barriers and driving innovation. That's why we are extremely proud to sponsor the Power Women of the Trades podcast, supporting the voices and success of women in the home service industry. Together, we're creating a future where talent shines, regardless of gender, and diversity thrives. Join our journey at relentless-digital.com and always be relentless in your pursuit of excellence.
This episode of Power Women of the Trades is also brought to you by Forrest Perry of Forrest Perry Digital Marketing. Want to generate more leads for your service business? Trust his team to deliver quality new customer leads and protect your brand online. Check out perrymarketing.com today.
Chirp, the ultimate automation toolbox for home service businesses. Chirp helps you capture more leads, connect faster, close more deals, and create customers for life. Through text message, email, and ringless voicemail automation, Chirp can help you transform your customer's experience. Learn more in the show notes below.
Welcome to Power Women of the Trades podcast. This show is all about breaking barriers and changing the game. Our guests will feature some of today's most successful female entrepreneurs and other advocates of our industry as well. Because if there's one thing we know for sure, female-led entrepreneurship drives change on multiple levels. We want to empower women in the trade industry like you so you can maximize your potential, stay balanced, achieve long-term success, and claim ownership over your life. Let's get started.
Okay, so Cassandra, how you are with Consumer Fusion, which we'll talk about here in a little bit because Leslie and I both use Consumer Fusion in our businesses, which we super appreciate. But let's talk about that here in a little bit. So, but you're not new to the trades.
No, I got into the trades like a lot of people, I think just totally by accident. Do you want me to spend a couple minutes telling you the real story?
Yeah,
or do you want me to give you
we want the real story.
No, we want the real story.
Okay, because sometimes I'll give the buttoned up condensed version.
We want the real stuff.
Yeah.
Then let's dive in. So I'll make it brief though, but I had no intention of being in home services prior to home services.
That's the story for all of us. We did not plan to be here. Yeah.
Right. So I was with a medical supply company for about 5 years. I was really complacent, but at the time I was locked in an abusive relationship. And so I had heard that voice telling me I was meant for more. But at the time, I let my abuser stifle that voice. And I'm really open about domestic violence because I feel like there's a lot of stigma. There's a lot of shame. People don't want to talk about it. But I'd heard that voice telling me, okay, I'm meant for more. And when I finally had the courage and the strength to leave, I had been living in a new place. He didn't know where I lived. I didn't have a restraining order on him yet at that time. And so I didn't want him to follow me home from work and figure out where I lived. So I was desperate for a job anywhere. I just wanted to get out of where I was at. And one of the jobs my late father sent me was for a digital marketing company for home services. I did not know anything about digital marketing. I was in medical supplies. I knew even less about home services, but I was whatever, I'll take it. I need a job. I need to get out of where I was at. And I loved it. I leveled up the ranks in my company. And I was scared because I was in my 20s at the time, woman of color. And I was like, these home service guys are not going to take me serious. But I found this love for the trades because they were awesome. They made me feel like I could be myself. I was a sponge. I was trying to figure out, asking business owners questions, listening to all the podcasts, reading all the books. And I found this passion for the industry. And that's kind of where I got my start. So left for a little bit, but that's what really started my trajectory into home services and where I found that love for the trades because they just welcomed me in.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's such a story of we were talking with someone earlier today because we were telling you, like I said, we record several at a time and the stories today have been deep.
I mean it.
But it's so like Leslie and I are both believers of God's plan of like when the people come together of whatever. And like, I just feel like it's no accident that every story that we've had today, every podcast that we've recorded today has put us in preparation of the next one for today.
Kind of, yeah.
And so, which is really like, and they probably won't even air in that order, but for us to see it on this side is just kind of like a crazy thing to see. But, you know, like the domestic violence, I didn't know that. When people, I have such a place of respect. I grew up in that environment and I get really emotional about it because it doesn't always feel like a place you can talk from. And when people are willing to share it.
You want me to take over?
Yeah, when people are,
Okay, so you said it was your father who sent you like a lead for the digital marketing company.
Yes. And thank you, Cassie, for sharing, your story as well, by the way.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
I was crying on the last one.
Yeah, we're just taking turns.
So you just show up because you're like, you said you're willing to take any job. Like you didn't care.
Right.
You were worried about your safety. You show up and as far as digital marketing, that's like a super broad term in our space. Explain a little bit about what Consumer Fusion does. Or is this not Consumer Fusion? This is somewhere else.
This wasn't Consumer Fusion.
Okay,
Yeah.
This was our first one.
This was a different company.
Okay.
Yeah. My story is an interesting one.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there I did SEO, websites, PPC, and online reputation.
Okay.
But Consumer Fusion is a little different where we're not a full service marketing company.
Right.
We're an online reputation management company. So we play nice in the sandbox with other marketers, but our goal is really enhancing our clients' online reputation.
Yes.
That way, if somebody is looking for their services online, they're going to be more apt to choose them. So that was like a later journey. But at the digital marketing company, I was like, what's SEO?
Right.
Yeah.
What's PPC? What's an install? What do you need more installs?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Right.
You had to jump in and figure it all out.
Gosh,
And
yeah.
that story is the same as like so many people. You know, we talk about that all the time of like, none of us planned this life, but here we are, you know, this HVAC plumbing.
It's plumbing in Oklahoma. Plumbing.
And it just found us. And then most of the time when you jump in, people just stay in, you know, because it's like this is a place of comfort. I can like, just my first thought is if you were in that space when that first company, tradespeople are protective, you know. And
How long were you there? How long were you at your first place that brought you into the trades?
I was there for 3 years.
Okay.
So I was rebuilding my life. I was figuring out who I was as a person again because I was a shell of myself.
Yeah.
So I was figuring out who I was. I was learning the trades. And yes, all these men came in and made me feel so welcome. Like I could be myself and I had hidden my true self for all those years.
Yeah. And
so I was like, I love these people. And I would have stayed forever at that company. But then I started to hear that voice again of like, okay, you're meant for more. You should be doing more. And although I learned a ton, I love the industry. I never would have left, but I felt like I wasn't going to have a true voice or like a seat at the table with leadership in the time that I wanted.
Yeah.
So I left. Like I dabbled in Canatech. I went to a big tech company, worked for LinkedIn. But that whole time I kept hearing that voice. And I was like, it's not a fit. It's not a fit.
Right.
And like, I got to be passionate about what I'm selling in the company I'm representing. So I thought, where was I able to be my genuine self? Where did I have the most passion? And that it was in home services. Yeah. So it was kind of like a timing thing. And like you said, Cassie, I believe in God and that everything happens for a reason. And at the time that I was at LinkedIn, I was like, what can I do? I'm not a fit for where I'm at, is when I had the opportunity to join Consumer Fusion and head up their home services division. So I was like, yes, I get to be back with my people.
Right. That was an easy transition. I'm sure you're already familiar with the space.
Yeah. And we talk like the whole point of this podcast started to really showcase what women are doing in this space. And it was never meant to be, and it's not, Leslie and I make sure it is not a men bashing club by any means. But one thing I don't know that we always put out or give enough credit to is the men of the space of the trade space are good people. And I can, like I said, like you in that first company saying that they welcomed you in and they did that. And it's just, they're good people, and I've heard so many stories of the trades being a place of the first step of the place of healing. And, I'm sure someone else has, because we're in the space, so we hear the stories, but it's just remarkable to me, honestly. And so that's why I think there's so much love for it. But I think the reason at the root of the love for the trades is that somewhere deep down, we all love people and we're working with people in homes and we're doing those things. And that's what's important. So, but back to the consumer fusion piece, we use you for is the negative review, which you could probably tell a little bit about, but I didn't know there was a company like yours out there for that. And so that's been really nice of, I always say, if we deserve the review, we deserve the review. And the truth is you're going to tell us you can't remove it if we deserved it and there's whatever. But there are people out there that are fraudulent and doing things to hurt other people.
Right.
And there is a way to help there.
Didn't you just go through something? You were like, go report these.
Yeah. Yeah, we had someone and they're already on it for us. And she was on my Facebook as soon as I posted about it. She's like, girl, we got you,
Yes.
But someone making multiple accounts and doing these things to leave negative reviews that of a false story anyways. But there's some peace of mind knowing now that I just thought, okay, I have to live with that.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of contractors and business owners in the trades, they think they're just stuck with it. Even before Consumer Fusion, when I was in digital marketing world, I didn't even know there was a company like Consumer Fusion. I was coaching contractors on, here's how you can respond to it.
Yes.
Try flagging it on Google. Probably not going to get it off.
You need to get 10 more to cancel out your one. And you're like, okay, I'll just go do that really quick.
Yeah.
Right. So when I saw Consumer Fusion, the culture, and then that we have this product that actually works, I was like, this is something that's sorely needed in home services because we're not miracles. Like, we're never going to promise we can remove every single review. Because like you said, Cassie, sometimes there's legitimate ones where you made a mistake and you can resolve the issue.
And we own it and we just have to move on. Yeah. Yeah.
Where we specialize in is what we call illegitimate negatives. Those reviews that shouldn't even been up there in the first place. And we see them all the time. My mother-in-law used XYZ plumbing and it was terrible. That reviewer didn't actually have the experience with you.
Right.
Or, XYZ plumbing, they charged me an arm and a leg. I went to Joe Blow down the street and got it for half price. Or I saw the piece at Home Depot for $60 or stuff like that.
Yeah.
It happens all the time, but business owners don't realize that reviews like that violate the terms and conditions of the review site. So that's where we go in and we help contractors with removing those reviews that shouldn't have even been up there in the first place.
Well, and not to mention, even if someone was going to try to remove it themselves, try to contact Google.
Right.
See who you can get on the phone at Google.
Right. It's not happening.
It isn't.
Yeah.
And not at all. Or you could flag it a bunch of times, and the likelihood of it getting down just off of flagging it only is like less than %. So what we do, which I don't know if you want me to go into the process, is we actually we deal with Google. So let's say like flagging it's not enough. We create the dispute case on your business's behalf. And then we're building out the report to show Google, here's the proof of how that review is not legit. It's not a customer. It's spam. It's a competitor, whatever that reasoning may be. And then our team is dealing with Google and they have the moderators overseas. So it's showing them the proof. And then that person at Google can say, cool, we approve the request, negative comes down. A lot of times they deny it on the first request. So then we have to go through the process multiple times, but we have a high success rate in getting them down.
And like I said, I think it's important to note, like, because, we've all heard the thing of like, oh, their reviews are fake because they're taking some down. It's really not that easy to take them down. The only way they're coming down is if they really are truly not legitimate reviews. And again, I'm fine with owning the negative review because we are human. We can't have perfect experiences every time. We shoot for them, but someone's going to have an off day. And so when we get that one that's not the way we expected, we're still going to try to recover. We're still going to contact the customer and try and apologize and do whatever we can to try to make it right. Sometimes you can't. But on the ones that, that are making multiple profiles and
That's a lot of
spamming.
work on that
Yes, and it's like,
individual.
that blows my mind in general too,
Yes.
because I ain't got the time.
I know there's just a lot of miserable people out there. Because when I see this stuff, I'm like, why? Why would you even do that? Or people who are never a customer, or the ones that crack me up. It's funny, but it's like, oh, it's somebody that took a picture of the truck, and they'll say, oh, this person cut me off on the freeway, or they blocked my mailbox for half a day. And I'm like, you weren't even a customer. And then if you're driving and taking a photo of the truck. Isn't that illegal? Right. I'm like, why?
Those things, they crack me up too. We always say, and because this is the truth, when people call to complain about someone driving, we always say, okay, we're going to review the footage. And it's almost end a conversation, because it's like they know it didn't happen because there is a camera in there. But to me, it's just like, but why, if that's the case, why did you call? Like, I just don't have that time in my life to create that negativity.
Yes.
Yeah, people are just wild sometimes. And so that's why we can't remove the ones that are legit. And it's funny because sometimes I'll tell like prospective customers, hey, check out our reviews. Like, you can see, like, we're not perfect, just like other companies, nobody's perfect. And they're like, well, you can get rid of the reviews. That's why you have a 4.9. And I'm like, no, we can't just remove anything. It doesn't work like that where you can go. Yeah.
And that's what I was like, when I found out about you guys, what I wanted to know was fair is fair, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Fair is fair. Like, and again, I stand on, if we deserve the review, it sucks. And it still sucks, even when it's a bad one, and you try to get ahead of it. Sometimes you're not going to, and it just sucks, right? But when that one, sometimes it's like, okay, I had that one, it sucks, let's move on. But when they're like, make multiple profiles, go into every location to leave the things, it's just like, that's when you go, what in the world? Nothing that we did was that bad, you know? Like, and that, so again, it's nice to have
have someone fight that battle
resource for that, because on the contractor side, because that's the thing too, is like,
well, we get in bondage to those people who are like, I'm going to leave you a negative, I'm going to tell everyone, and you're like, I literally didn't do anything. I remember I used to wear that too, like, oh, I got a 1-star review, we did, just overpricing, just
the office staff doesn't even tell me most of the time on the 1-star reviews. Like Kaylee and Kelly, they handle them, and then they let me know at another time later,
right?
Because they know that I wear it like that, so they're gonna tell me, I'm gonna see it, right? Because it's like you're talking about my kid,
yes,
because
this is your baby.
This company's like, and so I'm gonna know, they bring it to me when they have the solution of, hey, we got this is what happened, this is whatever, we've already handled it, we are gonna keep the review still gonna be there, but the customer's been, whatever, they don't often come to me, I'm just like, I don't even know what to do, like they handle it first. But because they've had to like eliminate some of my response out of that, because I want to, like you said, we just wear it, because when we've put our life and soul and money
Well, and I remember when I was just starting, I really thought it was going to be the end if I got those.
Yeah.
I thought that was really going to be it. If I get enough of these, Google's not going to send me any more leads. Like, I just didn't know.
And it's because you care. It's because you genuinely care, because there are businesses that I've talked to businesses that have called me crying because their business is on its last legs because they've gotten so many negative reviews. Because I'm talking like 50, 60 spam reviews, and their phone completely stops ringing. And then on the opposing side,
such a crappy thing to do to someone too.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. And another thing, this doesn't have to do as much with negatives, but something I've been seeing a ton happening on Facebook is these companies that are promising to help businesses get fake positives. Oh. Have you guys been seeing that lately?
Mm-hmm.
That's been around for a long time. I haven't seen it on Facebook, but I get messages in my Google profile all the time for those people.
Yeah. And that's a huge no-no. So I've talked to businesses who have paid the $3 or $5 for a positive review. And then guess what? Google catches on and they either suspend their GBP or they remove all of those positive reviews that they just paid for. Mm-hmm. And I was just talking to a business owner last week. He was doing Google LSAs. All those fake reviews got removed and he's back to square one. And he's like, what do I do? And I'm like, you got to do it the legit way.
You got to do it the right way. We got to, like, none of this was because of anything fake, right? Like a lot, it's like when people are looking for that silver bullet and it's like, there's just not one. on. You got to put in the work. The effort's got to be there. And
exactly.
It's hard, but you got to do it. But man, those Google reviews, they'll get you.
Google will get you.
Get you.
Google
And
we'll get you. And now it's not just about Google either. Now it's looking like with the emphasis on generative AI in Google search, now it's like, yes, Google's king, but now it's about third party too. Yeah. I know everybody in the trades doesn't like Yelp, but now it's like, hey, it's that necessary evil where how are you doing on Yelp? How are you doing on Facebook? Right. How are you doing on these third party review sites? Because online reviews are going to be more important than ever with generative AI now.
Yeah. It's wild out there, guys. It's wild. But the truth is that there are these larger companies, but most contractors are under $3 to $5 million, and that's where they'll stay. And a lot of times they don't put themselves out there to learn other things and other possibilities like this. And so it's good to be able to talk to people like you that have things like this to offer to these people that maybe they wouldn't have gone to that trade show and ran into you. Maybe they wouldn't have, been in that Facebook group and ran into you to know that it exists, because the evolution of our trades in the last 3 to 5 years has been crazy. But I just, I put myself in, I always try to put myself back into those shoes of that size of revenue and what I felt incapable of doing because I didn't have the knowledge.
Right. Knowledge is power. And it doesn't matter if you're a huge franchise or you're a one truck, one location business, your online reputation is going to affect you. So even for the smaller businesses, I think there is sometimes that lack of knowledge and I'm not going to be able to compete with these larger guys, so I'm not going to put in as much effort. But there's enough room for you to get a slice of the pie also if you're focusing on the right things and you have a process and you have a procedure. Like you said, there is no silver bullet. It's just about providing quality service, but also following up with your customers to ask for the review instead of just saying, oh, well, they'll do it if they want to. No, they won't.
We got to do
You have to ask.
You got to do it in the house.
Yeah.
We got
or things like setting up an incentive program for your techs or your managers. Some businesses think, oh, they're going to do it. No, they're not.
Yeah.
So it's like you give them something to motivate them and you make it a whole priority for everybody in the business, and you're going to see the impact of that in the long term.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's awesome. If someone was wanting to get a hold of you to learn more about Consumer Fusion, how would they do that?
So a couple different ways you can get a hold of me. I'm really active on LinkedIn and Facebook. So you can always just look me up, Cassandra Webster. But then also if you want to just shoot me an email, I'm more than happy just to provide education. So if it's just a matter of hey, you want me to take a look at your online reputation, see where there's areas of opportunity, I'm happy to just connect with anybody. So you can always email me also. I'm at Cassandra@consumerfusion.com.
Okay.
And then if you want to see more about our services, case studies, you can go to consumerfusion.com.
And it's more than just the negative review. There's also a review generation. It's all. I want to make sure that we go back to that because you can.
They'll reply on your behalf.
And it's you can piecemeal.
Yeah, 100%. That's a great thing about WordPress is we're not all or nothing. We do really believe on having a comprehensive strategy. So it's yes, focus on negatives, but also we have review generation, helping you build up the volume reviews, helping respond to reviews, because a lot of business owners, there's missed opportunity there if you're not responding to your positive reviews and your negatives. So we have a solution for that. But our motive is really, we're not about cookie cutter packages. For me, I want to understand, okay, what are you doing right now that's working? If you have something in place that's working, if you're using your CRM or you have a system in place, cool, keep using it. But then based on your goals, here's where I see an opportunity, and we can kind of work together to figure out what's going to be the best strategy for your unique business and your situation.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Cassandra, thank you so much for jumping on with us today. And I loved hearing your story. Sorry, I got a little emotional.
I got it.
Yeah,
I got it.
It's the place of, but the real, the raw, all the things are what helps us all be who we are and is impactful in the journey for someone else. So,
well, thank you, ladies. It's been a pleasure. I really appreciate it. I've been an avid listener for a long time, so I'm just really happy I had a chance to connect with you.
Thank you
awesome.
so much.
We appreciate that. All right.
Yeah,
thank you. We'll see you soon.
All right. Talk to you soon, you ladies. Take care.
Bye.
This has been Power Women of the Trades. Like what you hear so far? Leave us a review at Apple and make sure to listen to our other episodes wherever you enjoy listening to your podcasts. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.